to get into character.
Of course.
Of course. I have to get into all the characters.
All right, so I'm watching the screen. Okay, cool. Looks like we're live. Everybody, here's your dungeon master, Casey Sherman.
Good evening, everybody. Hi, all those on the YouTubes and the tweets and those live that join us now or at some time soon. This is Titans and Tribulations, named for the adventurers you see here, the Titans. We have Caraf Burchard, Atiye Morgenstern, Tyrock Zane, Belair, and Wayne Dawnblossom. And these four have been on a bit of a journey this season. They started out randomly gathering at a building, being invited to join the Titans, and they passed a test or two that let them join. After a spa day, they ended up accepting a job from a nearby troll that told them, hey, there's a portal up there, something bad's happening. They investigated, and after traveling through land that had changed recently, came across a building with insignias that involve, let's say, draconic imagery, teleported, used glyphs and sigils to make their way downstairs, touched a skeleton and a glowing gem that was in it, which is totally a safe thing to do. Everything kind of rumbled. They heard rumbling to the east. They were attacked by skeletons. They were attacked by a dragon that apparently they beat down to the point that it admitted it was not a dragon. It was some kind of archface stuck in a dragon's body that does not know how it got there. Totally normal run-of-the-mill mission. They head upstairs where they originally were, step outside and see that the world has changed. Around them they see 4 or 5 different scenes playing out, none of them really mixing together. It does not seem like they are in one zone, but perhaps some kind of crossroads. And as we were finishing last time, I think we were heading to sleep. So let me reopen this. I need these on 2 separate windows so that I can do this. So while you're sleeping, I believe the watch order was Caraf first. I've got it written down here. Followed by Atiye, followed by Wayne, followed by Zane. And what that says to me is that first, where did it go? So we're in a weird zone. So first, we're starting with Caraf at watch, and the first thing that we're going to see is, so Caraf mentioned being mindful. She stays near the group, and sits in a half lotus position and starts trying to sense what's going on, becoming more in tune with everything. The group had all spent some time looking briefly around the inside of the building before deciding it was time to take a long rest because it had been over 20 hours since they had slept. And they had, used a lot of their magical whatnots and felt the need to recharge, and a couple of people were hurt to a degree. So Caraf, as you're sensing, you already rolled for these. I'll have 1 or 2 extras for extra stuff that's happening, but you get the sensation as you're kind of listening to the environment. You get the sensation of it almost feels like a whirlpool. It feels turgid. Does that mean stuff that's moving, like water that's not staying still? It feels weird. There's stuff moving. It's volatile. It does not feel like a peaceful scenario. It matches what you saw outside in that it feels like a mix of a lot of different feelings. There's nothing particular that stands out about it while you're kind of communing, but you are getting that idea that something here isn't settled. And you've done this before. You mentioned it from your paladin training. You're used to sitting and sensing what's around you, and this is a new sensation. You have maybe felt a place of unease before when something was going on, but never such a swirling from all directions. So something about this place feels different. If you were going to conclude anything, probably from the role you had last time, that it's you are not back where you were in some way. In some form or fashion, this is not the original first floor that you entered the building on. At this time, Atiye is asleep, actually trancing. And so, Atiye, what is your? You mentioned, you have the leash for the dragon that you have fashioned. The dragon has been somewhat peacefully following along because it is nearly dead, so it has not put up any bit of a fight. So as Atiye settles into trance, what does that look like to us? Does she sit cross-legged to trance? Does she lay down? What?
Yeah, so Atiye decided to go into the kitchen area with the little tables and basically just sit there. Her trance isn't anything special. She just kind of zones out and experiences stuff.
Okay. You rolled a 3 on your D4 for the night. You begin to have a vision. We all got to see what happens when you had a 4 on it, but you have it feels weird. It feels like a dream. You don't actually dream though. You've mentioned that before. And what you see is you see in a black background the fluttering of a blue butterfly that our viewers would recognize, but Atiye doesn't. The screen in the middle of our stream.
I got it. I'm sorry. I didn't do it on purpose,
perfect.
but it did happen because of something I did.
Not a problem. I just wanted to make sure lest I.
That's not how I was picturing the butterfly.
Should I continue going? Yeah,
yes.
that's actually what the bird looks like. The butterfly.
Do please continue. Yes, I'm trying to fix the resolution on our game.
So then
you can read it.
You're going to you see the blackness and you see a butterfly floating across it, kind of eerie, of course, having no background, no nature. And as the butterfly heads further and further into the distance, you first hear the soft footfalls. Followed by slight growls of what you naturally want to call dark wolves that seem to be heading toward where the butterfly is. You have been in this trance-like state where you have seen this other place before, even though your conscious brain doesn't remember it. As you're seeing Princess's butterfly friend, what animal do you picture coming to help Princess out? Excuse me. Yeah. What animal do you picture coming to help Irina out? When you're used to being Princess?
Yeah. So Atiye would probably imagine a phoenix.
A phoenix? Perfect. Can you describe the phoenix to me?
Yeah. So it would be a fiery gold bird with, instead of feathers for its tail, it would just be fire that was lit brilliantly, very magical-esque, almost kind of glinting with the appearance of gold for feathers or interlaced with gold. And it's relatively small in size, so it's not overwhelming the butterfly, but probably the size of, I don't know, like a small dog. We'll do everything in dog sizes.
A large house.
Yeah.
Dog? Perfect. Okay. So as you see the phoenix appear, the brightness starts to fill in the dark space, and the wolves seem pushed away by that. In a weird visual effect you've seen before, they begin to somewhat fade as the light approaches them. And the phoenix becomes so bright that you can't see any of the rest of the vision. And after a while, you realize that your trance is about to come to an end. You're somewhat conscious the whole time. You, perhaps more than others of your kind, because of these weird visions, sometimes are not fully conscious of what's going on around you. But nothing bad seems to have happened.
Nice.
At this, Wayne, you've been asleep, and you're close to waking up. Nothing has happened during the previous 2 watches, and Atiye nudges you to bring you to wakefulness. Before she does, you are just coming out of a dream where you can see your father walking along. He's in a desert environment. Describe your father to us. We haven't seen him.
Yeah, so my father, for those of you who don't know, was a bard of sorts. So he's kind of the traveling, never putting down roots, always getting around. So very, probably much like Wayne in his looks, in that he would wear something that was, for the most part, just utilitarian, although probably with longer hair than Wayne because he's a bard, so he has to be a little bit dramatic. But obviously, my father is the human side of the family, so full human as opposed to Wayne's half elfness, and a little bit of facial hair, just what you picture with kind of the what's the word I'm looking for, with the man, my brain today, fantasy rocker kind of guy,
Okay. Totally fine. So you've been actually kind of watching him. You've never, you might have dreamt of him before. This is, slightly different. You're seeing him. He is, like I said, in a desert environment. You can see the sand that he's walking through, and he's holding a cloth that you can see from certain angles has some kind of map on it. He's heading somewhere, and he has a determined look on his face like you haven't often seen. He helped train you. He when you left your other home, helped raise you, get you ready for the world, but you both went your own ways because you wanted to find your own way at first. One interesting thing you see about him is that he does have a brand new hat that almost matches yours, that you'd never seen him wearing before. So he fades off as you're getting nudged awake. You see him trudging off in a certain direction in the desert, as if he's settled on somewhere on the map. Something important is in front of him. And so you come to wake, and you had a... This is where I didn't write all of them down. Yeah, you had a 23. You were the tops of the watching over the night. So as you come to wakefulness, and Atiye, begins to focus more on herself, her preparations for the day, thinking of what magic she would have, and the keeping an eye on the dragon and watching out. You are getting ready to watch. You said that you were going to go watch the door, the inner door, not the outer door. So as you head toward the inner door, you hear, with a 23, you hear the sounds of things outside moving, not purely just the wind in the trees, but none of it ever comes close enough for you to actually be concerned. So you do sense movement outside. Would you look outside to check on it, or would it just... You're just worried about what's inside right now?
Yeah, probably, within safe measures, like step to the door and take a look outside, since things aren't necessarily close.
Yeah. So as you head to the door, and you creak open the front door to the building in the southwest corner, you see, again, there's a weird mishmash of what the realm looks like out there. It used to be a field leading to a swamp. Now it's a small field leading to lots of different pockets of things around. And what you see is almost like ghosts, almost like dreams, things that are passing through in different areas. You see a fox chasing a squirrel in one place. You see in the more mountainous red area, you see the flight of some kind of beast that has perhaps scales. Looks dry and shriveled, passing across your vision, landing on one rock, landing on another rock as it goes away. But none of them are within, I don't know what's a realistic... They're all more than a football field away from you. None of them are approaching where you are. But they all have this eerie, with a 23, they all have an eerie presence. They're not quite there. But again, none of them are heading toward the building. So as you're watching, we have one other person who is sleeping. Caraf, you have gone to sleep by now. So what is it that when you picture a goodness in the world, you don't really worship a god, but she finds a beneficent golden light kind of being. What does that feel like or look like to Caraf?
Think about a time whenever you were out with your family or loved ones, and everything was okay. Like it was a picnic or like a day out in nature. Like there's no city sounds around, and you kind of almost forget you exist for a moment because everything is just so fine. You're just so contented. And like maybe you feel like a light breeze on your skin and you hear birds in the distance and it's almost nothing, but it's just enough something that's just so good and nice. And it's that feeling.
So you're having that feeling as you're walking along. It feels familiar. You used to walk along this path between towns with Gary, who helped train you when you were very young.
Gary.
So you feel there's no memory of anything that happened afterward where things went sour. There's just this person who has been training you and is your, part comfort, part safety, and you're just between towns, just, the easy part of the job where you just get to travel. So you're seeing that, and what didn't happen before, what does happen now, is that feeling stays with you as you reach the top of a hill and you look out and you see an odd hemisphere in the ground, just a gap missing, almost like a valley, but it's circular, and it has 5, including where you're coming from, different entrance points that all look like the places that you can see here. There's the verdant green with bright, extraordinary colors. There's the red mountainous area, but they oddly look like they are all meeting in this weird central place. And at the center of it, you see a tiny lake and a bridge across that lake. Do you do anything with it?
I cross the bridge.
Okay, so as you head down the bowl toward the bridge, the one thing you hear is that as you're heading toward the bridge, everything begins to fade as dreams do, from things that you are actively participating in to I can't remember what came next. And you hear, well, if only we had some people to help protect the portals. And then it fades as you continue your sleep.
Protect the portal.
Zane, you are fully asleep, not yet woken. You're relaxing, and you are in a temple. And in front of you, there is a gorgeous, lifelike statue of Stony. You were thinking beforehand of meditating, of thinking through what it is that you could get out of this, piecing together the puzzles, and you see this alabaster skin on the statue, emerald eyes, ruby lips. It looks like it is made with these gorgeous things, the flowing red curly hair. And you're seeing this statue. And do you do anything when you first see it?
I think my eyes would be watering and tears would slowly start to run down because I'm just struck by how beautiful it is.
You hear a voice behind you that says, well, you're quite beautiful as well. And you turn around to look, and there's no one there, and you look forward, and the statue is stepping forward. Zane, I heard you thinking about me last night. Is there anything that I can help you with? And it is some remnant of Stony, whether dream or real. You have perhaps had a dream like this before that caused some of the weirdness for you, but it's the kind of thing you can't convince other people really happened. And so maybe right now it's just another dream that nobody will ever believe.
So
how do you respond?
I would be stunned and a little bit speechless, kind of like I am in real life right now. Mm-hmm. And I would say, I only want to know how to be more devoted to you.
Oh, you are the charmer, aren't you? Surely you want more in life than that.
How do I make...
Although that was the right answer.
How do I bring other people the joys of your beauty? I only desire to improve their lives by helping them understand that. Please help me.
She places a hand on your shoulder. She walks around behind your back and says, "You already do. You are bringing the joy to everyone around you. And they can see me through you, through this luscious hair," as her hand coaxes down your hair. "And the smile that you bring as she touches your chin. Right now, we can't always come to those who care about us. But you are in a weird predicament, it seems. Don't you think so?"
You've got that right. Oh, you've got that right.
Of course I do. You are lost to me for now. And I want you to come back. You are not home anymore. I do not know how you can return, but I feel that you have grown far from me. Zane, please come back.
I'll find a way.
See that you do. I'm not done with you. And that smile as she pokes your nose. And you can tell a worshiper of Stony. She's performing the role that Stony's supposed to perform, right? It is a caricature. It is going to be that because that's where she dives in with her followers. You more so than most, apparently. And as she touches your nose, it all fades to blackness again. But from her hair, as it starts to fade into blackness, you see it as the scene fades. There's the glowing around her hair brightens, and as you are about to wake up for your
Watch.
Watch, you feel on your shoulder the tiny feet of a bird. And looking over, you see that this bird has the radiant red and gold and looks to be aflame as when you cast fairy fire. And is on your shoulder. And it just looks at you. And it winks. And then it looks forward. And Wayne, as you head over to Zane to wake them up, as they rustle and move underneath the bedding, the sleeping bag, so to speak, out from that flaps a little tiny, what you might think of as a phoenix, and coasts over to where Atiye is and sets on her shoulder. And Atiye, you see this phoenix exactly like in your dream, now on your shoulder, that looks at you and cocks its head, and then looks forward.
I got a wink.
And you're up. Yeah. You got a lot from a god. So you're awake now, and this is you take your watch, and you can all investigate anything that has been stated. I'm no longer railroading you through the night, but yeah, you begin to wake up. Zane's watch goes. Nothing interesting happens. Like I said, nothing was really approaching. There's nothing to worry about at all, of course. And y'all are good. So the morning is starting. What do y'all do?
So did Zane have the last watch? Did I have that right?
Zane had the last watch, and then wake everybody. Atiye was probably semi-awake through the second half with her new bird companion.
I just prepare for battle and stand around until everybody's up and ready.
Cool.
Atiye, that's a beautiful bird that you have there.
Atiye feels very uniquely, I guess, blessed to have this little baby phoenix on her shoulder. She had a lot of damage done, during the battle, and was really one of the only people who wanted the dragon around. So I think she's felt a little bit isolated from the group, or kind of like the one who's making it a little bit more troublesome for everyone because she's wanting to carry this dragon around with a leash. So now that she has another little baby phoenix next to her, she's feeling a little bit more hopeful. And so she's just kind of, like almost fake petting the phoenix on her shoulder and doing little coo sounds, but so quiet that nobody can hear. So, yeah.
It acts like it feels warm and glowy to the touch, but it feels like a normal bird underneath, and it is acting more like a tame pet than a wild phoenix while it is on your shoulder, and it'll jump around wherever you end up more comfortable. It seems to alight.
It's taken a liking to you, Atiye.
I do well with wild things, I think.
Yeah, and for all you know, it came out from outside.
Yeah.
Who knows? There was one thought y'all had just said. Oh, so you just had your first or second, I guess, long rest of the entire campaign. You get all your hit points back.
Nice.
You get all your spell slots back. For anybody for whom that matters. And if you spent any hit dice on a short rest, I know that we took one, then you get half of those back. So you would get one of those back. And you can note that on the center of your character sheet.
Where do we track how much magic we have available?
I think it's...
if you're using Roll20, then on your character sheet, the third page, there are tabs in the upper right corner. You can click Spell, I believe.
Okay.
Character sheet. Yeah, it says Spells. And you've got on the left, it's got 1 for level 1 spells, slots total 2, and slots remaining. So every time you cast one, you can tick that slots remaining down.
Okay.
And then the next day, bring it back up to 2.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yep.
Perfect. Gracias.
Of course. De nada. So as you are waking, we have one preparing for battle. We have a couple discussing a bird. Any other thoughts? There is as you're waking. It is now from the time that you started your rest. It is now probably mid-afternoon. It had been the end of a long day. You all feel rested, and you hear no sounds of any growing tension outside. Nobody who has looked outside has seen anything approaching. So there's no impetus to move. It's simply what y'all are doing.
So
we had I thought I was under the impression there was going to be some sort of battle, and that was while we were resting. Or maybe it was just a good place to rest.
You, I believe, heard the sounds of what could have been battle far off that you could not see.
Okay.
But you did not see anything near, and nothing has approached you. I think you were resting because you were at the point where, had you stayed awake longer, you would have gotten exhaustion that would have then given everything disadvantage, etc.
Did any of you
heroes you may be, but sleep you do still need.
Caraf turns to everyone and says, "Did any of you have any weird dreams?"
Well, I wouldn't call it weird, but I definitely had a dream about my patroness, Stony. She spoke to me.
That sounds lovely.
It was thrilling.
What did she say?
That's for me and Stony to know.
Oh, I understand it. It's a private matter. Got it.
I wink.
Sounds like a sexy dream. I'm kidding. Atiye just
if it's a Stony dream, it's probably yeah.
I heard Terrence saying, if only somebody could protect the portals. Does that mean anything to y'all? Scottish people say y'all. They totally do.
I'm certain that they do.
Scottish people may not, but dwarves
absolutely do. Yes, dwarves. That was not anyway. Yes, they do.
No, I don't know anything about portals. I dreamt of a butterfly and this little baby phoenix. So my dreams seem pretty legit.
Okay.
Oh,
I'll keep that in mind.
Well, that would sound interesting. I just dreamed about my dad in the desert. Not really sure what that was about.
Do you like your dad, Wayne?
That is a complicated question.
Atiye, kind of like goes over and lounges, pretending to be a modern or a very ancient therapist, and is like, "Do you want to talk about it?"
Do you want to talk about the glowing bird on your shoulder?
And then she turns and she goes, "Coo, coo, coo, coo." She says, "No."
It
more
seems like
interesting
we
than my
all
dad.
had some type of vivid dream. I wonder if it's connected to where we are at all.
Seems entirely possible to me.
Make a everybody who's puzzling it out, make an intelligence check.
Ooh. Just like real life.
Flipping the script. So Atiye, so everybody but Caraf, upon hearing the description of the dreams, the one thing that kind of stands out is that they were all of other places, right? There was Caraf's little, assuming you described it, Caraf's childhood, but you saw the butterfly in another realm. You saw your father, who is far away, a god from another plane. There's the one thing that seems to be consistent is they were all of faraway places.
That's useful context.
Maybe it has to do with the portals. Atiye ponders aloud. Like maybe you were.
And Caraf, even though you had the two, you did recognize that the zones outside did somewhat match your dream most precisely, most closely.
I can.
So Atiye, you were saying.
Oh, just like maybe we're, Oh wait, I guess yeah. Since Caraf said something about portals, Atiye's wondering whether or not maybe we're like close to a open portal, and that could be influencing our dreams.
Oh, I think that's a good question.
Well, it would explain all the ghosty creatures outside.
Ooh, I love ghosties. And Atiye scampers to the door and just peeks it open a little.
Give me a perception check. If it's a 20, you'll see ghosties in the distance.
I bet you I will.
Oh,
Ooh.
You see
Nice.
ghosties in the distance, things that seem to inhabit their environment well, and don't seem to notice that y'all are there looking. They don't see a weird building in the middle of a field somewhat nearby that does not match their environment.
I see the ghosties, Wayne.
Well, it's good to know that I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
I'm not killing it right now. I cannot even
This is
put on a
why
wig.
Caraf's in touch.
Yeah.
This is a backstage thing.
Do you want me to help?
No,
Garrett
I'll
spent too
stick.
much time on the hair and not enough on intelligence today.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Here.
A classic beautiful dropout problem.
is our dragon friend still with us?
Yeah, I have him on my
Your
leash.
dragon friend is still curled up on the leash. Atiye, make an intelligence check.
Okay.
Specifically Atiye.
There you go.
As soon as she's done
Nice.
with Caraf's hair.
Yeah, of course.
I appreciate
No
it.
hurry.
Oh,
With a
because
4.
I was doing his hair.
Yeah. Your leash is probably great for holding a dragon that has had overnight to sleep and
Oh
heal.
no.
Yeah, probably totally safe. With a 4, you're confident.
Oh, so I'm not confident.
No, you are
You are
you rolled a
confident.
4. You're
So confident.
I'm like
Lauren
white
is
male
not.
confident.
Lauren is not confident, but Atiye is.
The confidence of the
You,
ignorant.
oh yes, you are white male
Yeah.
confident.
It's looking very mullet right now, actually.
just fix the bangs.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah, so your dragon's still there, and the vampire in the corner is still there.
Nikolai.
Nikolai.
Ulai.
So,
But he has very much taken a background role as y'all were kind enough to free him, and he's not gonna put up a fight. He just doesn't. He wants to get along with
Or
everybody.
kill anyone.
and maybe bang Zane.
Or kill you.
Yeah, definitely. Strong vibes there.
Strong shipping vibes.
He is a captain of ships.
Of one ship.
Womp.
One ship.
Yeah. So Atiye turns to the group and says, "There's lots of ghosts. I don't know if we're supposed to do anything with that, but it looks like a ghostly realm out here."
We were sent here by Terence and
Just Terrence.
Terence and the Tortex guy.
Wadsworth.
Wadsworth, yes. To dispatch an evil of some sort or deal with something out here. And so
Oh yeah.
I've lost track of how we can actually make that happen. I need to work on my Scottish spells. How we can actually make that happen. So what do we need to do? Because I haven't seen the big evil that I thought was going to be this direction.
There was a big volcano of death.
You felt like, as reminders of the evil and that kind of stuff, you felt like there was something evil that was kind of to the east in the ground, and you felt like there was something about the dragon that was evil, but not necessarily the personality inhabiting it currently. Everybody, give me another. Well, we'll just use the ones from before. Y'all had multiple teens. The thing that seems to have let me rephrase. All four of you were downstairs in a magical, hard-to-reach place that seemed preserved by time, and upon the touching by a person with a symbol on the back of their neck of a glowing gem, the glow stopped, everything kind of rumbled, and everything felt different, and when you went upstairs, things were different. So, if anything, there's a part of you that feels you might have already gone through some kind of metaphysical portal.
Oh.
And be in an in-between place, as was mentioned before. Like y'all have been mentioned, or I've been mentioning to describing, like this feels like maybe you're in the in-between. And that would be why the ghosties don't seem to notice you. You're not there, you're in between.
And I have my phoenix friend.
And you have a phoenix friend.
Yeah, it's like when you're at a coach port and it's not really any specific place. You're like between places. Yeah, I get it.
We're at the select stage screen.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Perfect. Exactly. Okay. So from this, I think we explore outside. I think we see what we can do in terms of maybe heading back towards Aerith, if we can even do that.
I agree. We should investigate.
Love it. Love it. As y'all head outside boldly, with two of the voices very strong, desiring to leave, you walk around the outside. We're going to keep it theater of the mind because I can't make a picture that looks like what I'm imagining. You're going to walk around the outside of the building, and you see these 5-ish zones. There's the one that is. Go ahead and give me. Okay, there's the bright green zone. There's the earthy volcano-y zone. There's a foggy, hard to see behind the trees in the fog zone. And there's a green mist seeping out of it zone. If you're focusing on one of those, you can make an investigation check on any one of those 4. Or if there's another check you want to use, I want to use religion or history or something like that, let me know, and I'll say if it fits. But everybody can pick a zone that they are most interested in and try to figure it out as you're walking around and looking.
I feel like I want to check out the fog zone. Is the fog zone an official name? Registered, trademark.
Yeah, fog zone.
Copyright.
Hashtag fog zone. So give me the investigation or whatever other check you'd like to make about it. And this is during the process. Y'all are walking outside the building to investigate it. You're getting closer toward that kind of realm. There's a weird phenomenon happening. Surprise, surprise, it fits this place. As you're getting closer, it doesn't feel like you're getting closer, although that place does come more into view. You never see a circle of a portal, but you do get the impression that if you were to just keep walking toward it, you might eventually be there and not here. And so in some way, this is the act of this portal that we're in. So with a 14 for fog zone, Wayne, you this is investigation. Good. So you're looking around. Actually, do it with advantage, Wayne. Do it one more time.
Advantage Wayne.
Mm-hmm. So with a 16, okay. Walking beside you, so the 15 is usually my kind of. It's better than average.
Hit the
Like
threshold.
surprisingly better.
Yay.
It's the threshold. So as you're walking around and you start to kind of focus on the fog zone, Nikolai is there also, and he says, "This is familiar. I do not recognize it, but it feels familiar." And as you're hearing a vampire tell you that this place looks familiar, you remember hearing rumors in the past of a place called Mordavia, that is a realm lorded over by some vampires, with nomadic peoples around it of ancient customs, and that it is always preceded and bordered by a fog barrier that if you enter, nobody has ever returned from.
Oh, that sounds
And
exciting.
so you're getting that impression. This is a story, one of the many stories that your dad told you growing up that seems fantastical until you're standing next to a vampire and next to a mystical fog with a forest. Yeah.
Right on.
Did you say one of the areas
else
was
here?
more like green and lush or something like that?
Yes, there's a lush green, vibrant, almost fluorescent colors. The other word I'm thinking of. What's the Easter word? Not pastel.
Passover?
Yeah, maybe pastels. Passover colors. I don't know what those are, but
Probably
Yeah.
red.
I think it's pastels. Yeah, Easter, right?
I want to
I
say,
guess so. That must be what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
Pastel
yeah.
is an Easter thing, but I don't know if that's the word you were looking for. But it's
Yeah,
definitely an
with
Easter
vibrant.
word.
Passover. They're definitely related. They're absolutely the same word. I will not look it up.
That's probably.
Yeah.
I believe it.
I think Zane would be drawn to that.
Yeah. So you head over there and you're looking around. Whatever skill you find appropriate for looking at it. The one thing that doesn't really is perception, because that just helps you see it better, not understand it.
I think almost certainly Wayne. I think it was past the roll.
So let me rephrase anything but perception, because perception is just seeing it, not understanding about it. Yeah.
So
With a 12, you continue to see it.
I think that great.
It's
Yeah,
still there.
perfect. I thought you were saying that's what you wanted me to roll, so I was like, okay.
No, anything. So if you just want to see more, let me rephrase. With a 12, you see large trees, enormous trunks. The colors of the leaves do not look like the colors of leaves that you're used to. They are brighter in places. They are almost purples, almost pinks in places that you don't expect to see. It's not like it is just a flash of color in your face, but it kind of fits in this eerie, beautiful way all throughout. And with 10 investigation, 18 religion, training with the planes in religion, you've heard a little bit. You feel that this is perhaps somehow related to the Feywild. The Feywild is a large and ranging territory that has all sorts of different descriptions, but the unreal colors are very commonly associated with it. So as you're looking at this forest, it's reminding you of art that would have happened in some of the texts that you might not have looked the most at, but the colors were vibrant and beautiful, so that would have picked up for you. So this feels Feywildy. Yeah. And again, same kind of thing is happening as you're walking closer. It becomes more clear, and you get a sure sensation in your head that if you kept walking, you could end up in the Feywild, and you would no longer be where you were, and there wouldn't necessarily be a way to get back because there's no obvious door that is taking you from one to the other.
So I drift a little bit towards that, and then I turn around and kind of walk back to where my group is kind of gathering and say, where are we? What is this place?
I've been wondering the same thing, and how do we get back to where we came from if this keeps happening? How do you even travel through a zone that doesn't have corporeal
shape
consistency? Yeah.
I don't know.
Same.
Caraf, as you've thought the most about this, I want you to give me another intelligence check. Let's see that 2 grow.
Oh dang. Oh yeah.
What?
It grew. It grew.
Cupid.
You feel like in your vision, this is all that you really see. There are kind of 4 zones around you. And in your vision, there were 5 total entrances to the valley. The 4 that you could see and the one that you came from. And that's it.
And so now I found myself back in a valley with only 4, but basically the same.
So let me rephrase. When you were in the dream, you were at, say, the 5th point of a star. But as you look out of the building, as you walk around the building, there are only 4 places to go.
Okay.
So it feels awkward, different, something.
Gotcha.
But there's something there.
I wonder. Okay, so is it set up to where there's a clear gap, or is everything equidistant and just further apart?
Everything seems kind of equal around. Those 4 seem to border each other in unreal ways.
Okay, so it's like a point was removed and then it was rebalanced. It's not like there's a door missing.
Possibly.
Okay.
Possibly.
Hmm.
Possibly.
I
Not for sure.
I share this information with the group. I had a dream last night where it was very similar to this, but there were 5 instead of 4, and I don't know where the 5th. I don't know where it went. I don't know why. This happened. This happened. I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah. Is anybody looking at other zones? Are y'all looking around? Caraf has just thrown out a kind of an open question to the group.
I think I would wander over towards the fiery lava and take a look.
I follow.
Make a religion check. Religion. So a 12 is enough to recognize this. This also matches pictures from those religious texts. This would be of the first level of the 9 hells. Fiery. There's in the distance you start to see a lava lake, and on the beach there are tons of, like, as you're getting closer and closer, you're seeing what looks like bones kind of spread all throughout. Zane, go ahead and give me, as you're watching this, go ahead and give me a wisdom saving throw.
I would probably mumble to myself, how dreary.
I love that on my camera. It looked like I said wisdom saving throw and you shook your head.
Negative.
So with a 9, this was just for the kicks. It just had to be over 5 for you not to randomly decide to walk into the 9 hells. But
No.
but you feel more tempted than you should to head to a very bad place.
Maybe Zane is having second thoughts about mortality. I don't know.
Well, you just saw your god who said you're going far away. Maybe you're like, maybe she's in
Right. Is this what
Which
she
one is the
means?
best
Is
bet?
this how I get closer? I recommend that we don't go here. That I want to take a look, but I don't think we should go here. And I kind of back off a little bit.
I follow.
Atiye would have been drawn to the green area that was the Fae.
The green misty.
Or no, actually the one that Zane went
The
to,
Fae.
yeah. But it sounded like Zane turned around pretty quickly. And so Atiye probably would have then turned to the green oozy area, but very carefully and, not just running in, preparing to jump into the gates of hell or anything.
Good. So you're cautiously heading toward. It is hard to see through the green mist that is coming out. The closer you get, still staying away from the green cloud, the green mist, whatever it is, it's very amorphous, and it does not look entirely tangible. It's kind of like water droplets in the sky, right? That only when you see tons of them do they take a shape. But as you get closer, you see that behind it are kind of. It almost looks like you're looking into a cave. Which is weird because a few moments ago it looked like there was sky above and you're in the middle of a large field, and as you're moving forward you're just getting the impression of there's this large cave around your vision, and this green kind of mist and fog is coming from it, and you can make an intelligence check, or if there's something else that you think fits we've kind of reached it. Knowledge of other planes.
Yeah. What about wisdom? Is wisdom more about people?
Wisdom it wouldn't be like book knowledge unless it was somehow related. It's a scary fucking looking cave. Don't want to go there.
I am not a fan of the green oozy cave of death.
Your brain is doing the very primal thing of, I don't know what that is, therefore I should not be here. Yeah, very reasonable.
Yeah, so Atiye would turn around pretty quickly and then go kind of hover in the area with the green, beautiful flowers that she knows she shouldn't travel too far into.
Atiye, you've kept the dragon on a leash.
Yes.
And what's your perception? Like, what do you add to perception?
Let's see. My perception's a +4.
Okay, so that means you have a 14 passive perception. So while you're doing all this stuff, you're kind of noticing things with a 14 without actively trying. You see that the dragon is definitely eyeing the Feywild, the beautiful lush green thing. And you feel that the leash is a little more tense as you're over here than at other places, like a dog that does not want to walk where you want it to walk. That's all. Wayne, similarly, you notice that Nikolai is still over near the foggy area.
Well, we could stay here and just look at all of these interesting places, or we could just pick one of them.
Well,
where else are we going to go?
I mean, as much as I've come to love our friend over here, the foggy place feels very vampirish to me, and I'm not very into that.
I'm not either.
Well, I understand that you are not, but I would say that I perhaps am into this kind of place.
Can we just let Nikolai go?
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Let him run into the fog.
It seems like it would be very humid, and that wouldn't be good for my hair right now.
Oh, we could take care of this. There are many products that could help your hair in the humidity. You would fit in quite well. You have such a luscious neck, which does not mean anything too forward, of course. I feed on, do you want to know the answer now? I feed on mosquitoes. Because they have fed on others and they carry the blood with them, and so I eat on the mosquitoes.
That's
lovely.
Smart.
Not all of my kind do this, of course.
Lovely.
Not the best strategy for managing your karma.
It's pretty smart.
It works for now. It is easier in a swamp or a place with many mosquitoes. It is in this field. It is not the. But like I said, I have a few days before I need to feed. Everybody give me as y'all have kind of discussed all the stuff going on, give me an intelligence check or something else that you think feels figuring out puzzly, like if you are somehow casting a spell that you think could help, or you know, my dad taught me to blah, blah, blah. Like if you give me what y'all think would help you puzzle this out.
Okay, and so we've got Fog and Gates of Hell, and what were the other two?
The Feywild and Scary Mist Don't Go.
Got it. Okay.
/cave.
Yeah, me too, Wayne.
Okay, so this may be an inappropriate role, but Zane still has Stony at the forefront of his brain right now, and he's struggling to really focus on anything else. So this may not fit, and that's perfectly fine if it doesn't. You don't have to have it be in kind of consequence.
Oh, no, that's fine. So a 15 religion, a 17 intelligence. Caraf, as you were listing the places, you feel like you're catching on to something. The zones are, you have seen, oh, thank you. I got some dinner. The zones are a foggy place that has vampires, and you have, as you're actively puzzling this out, and you have a vampire that doesn't know how he got here. You see the Feywild as you're looking around trying to keep track of it. You see the Death Gate, right? You don't know what that's all about. That doesn't fit any puzzle pieces you've seen. You see the Feywild, and you were very not necessarily believing of, but in the end trusted. I think you had a pretty high insight roll of this archfey that is stuck in the dragon's body, and you know that an archfey would be from the Feywild, and that they also seemed to have been brought here unknowingly into this body that is not theirs. Do you, because you're looking around, do you investigate the green mist as well?
Oh my god, I didn't realize that was you were asking me. Yes, I investigated the green mist. Yes.
Okay, so give me so as you're putting these pieces together and you see the green mist, and you're thinking of all the different planes, and you're thinking of the gates, the passages you saw in the valley last night. You see, it reminds you of things that you've heard in your travels, right? Caves, dwarves especially know about caves, but this feels like the elemental plane. There's something, the earth elemental plane. There's something about this that is deep, that is underground, that is noxious fumes, that is inside the cave. There is no sky. So as you walk toward it, you get, again, even for a dwarf, you get a creepy, claustrophobic, this is not a safe place to be. But putting all the stuff that we've got together about planes, you guess that it's probably the elemental earth. And
I begin to nervously munch on a little bit of peanut butter sandwich I had left in my bag.
Yeah. So you're putting all of that together, and you're thinking of and as you back away and you eat some comfort food, feel a little bit better about it. There's something going on with this being some kind of portal and multiple things being brought here at once. One of which is inside the dragon, and one of which is the vampire who's drawn to the vampire place. As Zane retreats inside themselves and maybe walks back inside, to get away from everything that's happening. And not that it's a beautiful temple inside, but it's a bit more familiar to where a Sunni worshiper would be. Not necessarily. Yes, there is the outdoors part, but there's also the ritualistic aspect of being indoors, being in a cathedral. And that's more like what your dream was. And so as you walk inside, you as you go toward the building, you are focusing deeply on how Sunni feels, how Sunni made you feel, and you give me a. So I'm going to include the religion you already have, but give me a wisdom check. Let's do it with proficiency, because that's what I think of as interacting with a god. So wisdom with proficiency. Unless you think of Zane as interacting with Sunni more as a charisma with proficiency, because I could see both for how Zane chooses to interact with their god.
I really think that's probably more of what he would channel. I tend to agree.
Yeah, that's fine. That's totally valid. Like, I'm big on it. It doesn't have to be religion, because religion is like the knowledge, and you don't pray with I read the book. You pray with the wisdom. So 10 charisma, and add your proficiency is 2 right now, so 12. You're reaching out. The charisma check is you reaching out to somebody who was just saying that you're farther away from them, and you are getting, as you're focusing on it, echoes of the voice in your head. Like when you're replaying part of the dream. And as you head inside, you're wandering around. As you head inside, the echoes in your mind get a little bit louder. It's still just the echo. It's still just the dream, but it gets just a little bit louder inside.
Interesting. Am I? So if am I just barely through the doorway, or am I just kind of wandering around and pacing around it?
I was picturing just barely through the doorway, like you're like that when you're trying to get space from everybody and they're all outside, so you step inside, that kind of thing.
So that would probably cause Zane to walk further inside, more towards something that looked like it had some kind of symbols on it, or something that seemed like it was farther away from the outside, and to try to just really focus.
So as you're focusing and you pass the left wall, it's the same building that it was. All of the structure is the same, but there's no markings on the door, no markings on the wall that say Thesira we wait. There's no dragon wings on the door. If you head toward the northern room with the tables, and there are still tables, but there's nothing about the room. It's just a stark room. It's almost like an echo of a place you've been. You head back toward the east, and you pass where everybody slept. There's the space to the north. There's no symbology anywhere on any of the walls. As you are proceeding, the echoing in your voice is coming through stronger. Again, different phrases from it. So at first it was just far from me, but now it's Zane. You're hearing the voice as you're getting closer, and as you head back toward the stairs, you find yourself at the top of the stairs that you came up with everybody before everything had changed.
So
Do you go downstairs?
I'm gonna wander downstairs.
Okay. Everybody else make a perception check.
I'm so sorry.
This is
if this is a bad party decision.
Caraf and Atiye, Zane hasn't been there for a couple of minutes now. Y'all each wandered to an area of the field, trying to figure things out, came back together, discussed some stuff, threw around some ideas, and as you look around, both of you with a 20 notice that Zane is no longer nearby.
Oh no.
Oh,
this is bad.
So Zane, I think that is fully what I picture Caraf thinking. Like that, I mean, you've established like there's a jump to concern that seems to fit.
Yeah.
Atiye is not too worried.
Yeah. So Zane
Oh no.
heads down the stairs, and as you head into the room, it feels the same as it did before. By which I mean after touching the gym, everything felt the same. And you look around downstairs. Do you look? Are you investigating a lot? Are you wandering aimlessly? Are you focusing on the feeling inside? Are you looking for something particular?
So I'm not looking with a goal in mind, but I'm looking to notice details that I've seen before to try to picture if am where I was earlier when I thought I was in the same building.
Okay. Give me investigation then. And while you're at it, give me a perception just for noticing what's going on around you. 7. Okay, yeah. As you look, you are fairly certain that this is the same. You can't see any distinct clues. Before there was no dust. There is still no dust. Come to think of it, there hasn't been dust anywhere in this plane. In fact, the upstairs looked cleaner than it did before. Aside from the stains of blood that you had seen, there was nothing else that implied that the place had been going through the passage of time. So you're wandering around downstairs, and with a 7, you don't really notice because you are deep inside yourself at the moment. You are. There's some existential stuff going on. It seems like, and that dream when you wake from the dream and you're trying to find something to hold on to, you're focusing so hard on that you don't notice as the rumbling starts to get louder from the east, until it is unmistakable, and you hear a huge crash to the east as something begins to fall. So we'll say that you were here, and we will put you. We'll move everybody else over here. Whoop. And we'll say that as you're wandering aimlessly, you find yourself about here, when to the east, there's a huge crashing from just behind the rubble, coming from over there.
I'm not seeing the bubbles.
Oh, it didn't move,
Yeah.
y'all. Oh, I see what's going on. Okay, I need to move this. I changed myself, not y'all.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
There we go. Thank you for letting me know. So we are back underground where you were. I moved everybody else, just trying to get them out of the way. And you see, or you hear an enormous noise to the east, as your peaceful wandering is kind of somewhat ruined by a huge rumble that ends in a bit of a crash as some rocks fall.
So that would immediately cause me to be startled and probably run upstairs.
Totally fine. And that took her him a bit of wandering. So if Caraf, you were about to say something.
Oh, I was going to respond to the boom. I was going to prepare myself and cast it and
So
try
y'all
divine
are getting
sense.
to the point that you do hear a bit of a boom. Whoop, whoop, whoop. You do hear a bit of a boom, and you can head toward the building. Remember, your divine sense doesn't do great at long ranges. It's meant to be, call it 20 yards, 60 feet-ish. And if you're outside, it would maybe see some of the edge, but it wouldn't be seeing what's going on downstairs, whatever. So you would have to go toward before sensing much. Or you could use it now and get kind of a vague sense.
I start to move towards it, and I pull out my warhammer, and as soon as I'm in range, I apply divine sense.
Okay. As you're getting close to the building, so you're still upstairs, haven't quite gone down the stairs yet, and and as you're using it, and Zane is about to, you hear the footsteps of Zane running, pitter patter up the stairs, and Zane almost crashes into you as you start to focus in here. We'll drag y'all all up here. As you hear, as you feel, that evil that you felt before is coming from the east. It is something evil and yeah, and that's all you get from that about it. There is evil coming from the east. Downstairs.
I say to Atiye, I relay that information to Atiye and Wayne.
Yes, they've been running up with you. So if they're are y'all going with Caraf?
Yes.
Who heard the boom and is running?
Yes.
Thought so. Atiye, did you struggle to make a persuasion, or I'm thinking of the dragon and you trying to bring the dragon with
I feel
you.
like the dragon's like not moving, and so I'm still outside.
Okay. That is allowed. I want to turn that off. There we go. Okay. So you and the dragon are still outside, and we'll move you all down there. Not a problem. And Wayne, you followed?
Yes.
Okay. So what we've got is 3 people heading toward a noise downstairs, and 1 elf staying with a dragon. So as Zane crashes into Caraf at the top of the stairs, what do y'all do?
I say, if you're gonna run away, I don't want to fight this thing alone. What are you gonna do?
I don't know what this is.
I apply divine sense. I push my divine sense in the direction of what's coming.
All that you can tell from it is that it is evil, and it is. Yeah, it is not celestial, fiend, or fae.
Okay.
Which means it could be lots of other things. It could be, but you don't get. It's not a devil. It's not a demon. It's not a divine being come down. It's not from the Feywild.
Did you see it? Was it outside?
It doesn't seem to be. It seems to be. Is it downstairs? Downstairs. It's big and it's evil, but I don't know much more beyond that.
Well, it sounds big enough to hit. So
I didn't see it downstairs. We could go check again.
You did see or hear the wall crashing to your east.
Right, but I didn't actually see what it was, I think is what I'm trying to say. So I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I think we're here to kill it, but without Atiye, we don't stand a chance. I think at the very least we got to be together. So let's stay upstairs.
As y'all are standing at the top of the stairs, and I'm trying to time it with how the conversation's gone. You are hearing a rumbling that is coming closer to the stairs.
Atiye's just sitting on like a ledge, like petting her baby phoenix, really unaware of whatever's happened. And like trying to slowly move the dragon, like pushing him from the side, just gently nudging him.
Give me are you trying to nudge it with strength?
Yeah.
Are you trying to
like
nudge
almost
it, like,
comically so?
Okay. Okay. So go ahead and give me a strength check. It seems not dazed. It has moved a couple of feet. It was, let's call it 40 feet from the entrance of the building, so now it's like 30 feet from the entrance of the building.
Yeah. And Atiye is like, dragon, because she never remembers the dragon's name. Dragon, come on, I bet you there's tons of yummy treats.
I told you I'm not a dragon.
Come on, baby dragon. And she's just still gently nugging, like pushing aside. And the dragon, it seems mostly like amused rather than anything else because Atiye is a fairly small elf.
I shouldn't be treated like this. I'm royalty.
And Atiye then tries to tickle the dragon to see if she can throw him off balance.
Royalty! You do not tickle royalty? What did your parents teach you?
And she said,
as this dragon kind of wobbles because it's expecting to be tickled because it's not used to being a dragon.
Atiye is very clever.
Yeah, it's getting confused. So you get a few more feet with that ruse. So as the sounds are approaching from the north, as Atiye is trying to get the dragon closer, you hear a crashing through the ground that is actually coming from right here. And as you hear the crashing through the ground, boom, 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 come on. As you hear that, there we go. Coming through the ground is an enormous, well, as you enter the room,
Pokemon.
Let's give y'all some sight outside. Reveal areas.
It's definitely a sandshrew.
Yeah. Gotta catch
so y'all
him.
were about here-ish. So y'all were outside trying to drag. This crashes up through the floor. And the other three of you hear the sound coming from the south of you, so you can move yourself wherever you would go to upon hearing that. Would any of you have told Nikolai to come along? Or would he still be outside watching the dragon?
I feel like he would have followed Zane.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. Very reasonable.
Yeah, they're tight.
That
Very
hair.
So as you come up, you see Caraf being in the lead. You see an earth elemental. It is a large rocky being. It comes through the floor. Everybody's heard lore about elementals, right? You, as a kid, you hear stories about things. They can move through their element, so it can move through earth, but it can't move through stone, so it had to crash through the stone to get up into the building. And you feel like this would have been something that could have been the rumbling you were hearing to the east, making noise underground, as it finally bursts up through the ground. I want you to give me an insight check, at least Caraf, but it could be the other two if you're trying to understand it.
Oh, that one okay.
Well, 23 is pretty good. Yeah. So with a 23, Caraf, you've been dealing with some weird stuff. You get an impression early on that this, and Wayne, both of y'all, this is not acting like you would expect an earth elemental to act. Not that you know anything about them, but you have been recently walking around with an elf in an archfey in a dragon's body, and it did not seem to act like a dragon should. If anything, this seems to act like a dragon should. As it comes out of the ground, it's kind of doing almost a slither with its head, which does not look right on a rocky being. It plants its hands on the ground. It's walking on all fours, even though it looks like it could stand upright. And it kind of sniffs the air with no nose. It's just part of a flat rock face, but it lifts its head as if it's sniffing the air. Do y'all do anything, or do you just watch and observe?
Caraf is initially awestruck and begins to go through the motions of preparations for combat, but this is so overwhelming compared to many of the things they faced before that it's a lot to just even draw the hammer.
Yeah.
I don't think Zane would be willing to necessarily start an engagement with this thing, so he's going to very carefully watch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wayne would probably just look over and say, "Well, this might sound weird, but does that thing look a bit dragony for an elemental, or is it just me?"
Can I say at this point we've entered the front door, very slowly?
Yeah, y'all could have made it to the front door by now.
Then we are in the front door.
Let's move y'all up. Well, let's say you are in the front door, and the not dragon is just outside, working their way in.
Dragging his feet.
As Wayne speaks up, y'all can respond, and you see that it It takes a few hesitant steps toward the west, still kind of sniffing the air. And its backside is kind of moving as if it has a tail, but there's no tail to wiggle.
Nice.
Nice pun, Jay.
Dragging his feet.
You get me.
Love it. Love it. So it's moving toward the west. I'm just gonna keep acting, and y'all interrupt when y'all would do it.
I'm terrified, but I don't want it to get out, and so I begin to follow suit, and just like through the terror, I've got my hammer in my hands, and I'm following, and I'm keep looking out for any signs of any of my friends, so I can warn them what's coming.
I think you said hold.
You don't want to. I'm sorry, I accidentally turned the volume down on my mic somehow. On my ears, my ears broke. So you are watching it, but you don't want it to.
I don't want it to notice me, and I don't want it to come after me, and so I'm kind of like keeping an eye out for signs of Atiye, because I know that she was outside, and also trying to make sure it doesn't get anybody else, and also making sure I don't engage it before we're all together.
Okay. As long as you are mostly staying still, no stealth check. If you start to make moves to continue to follow, it'll be a stealth check. It's focused at the moment. 8, yeah. So when you start to move, it might notice. We'll see. But I'll wait until you actually decide that Caraf is moving to impart that.
Caraf moves just as much as I think they might have, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but
it quickly turns around.
that didn't go very well. I'm scared.
And sees you, and turns back around and ignores you.
Why is John relieved? I'm relieved. This is good.
So Atiye would have heard the loud rumble outside, even if she hadn't made it in.
You would have heard the breaking through of the ground.
So Atiye, I would like to do a stealth move and try to open the door just to see what's happening.
Okay. $12. Okay, and we'll give it its, where'd it go? Okay, with a 3, it seems to be focused on its sense of smell. It doesn't seem to notice as you creak open the door and see this like 15 feet wide and tall piece of rock that is on hands and feet, writhing its way towards you.
Atiye is surprisingly not scared. She thinks it looks cute. She's just at this point kind of used to very large creature things coming out from the ground here, and it hasn't attacked anybody yet.
Not yet.
Caraf sees Atiye but doesn't want to yell and alert the creature, but grabs their javelin just in case they need to distract the creature.
The 3 of you in the back, any progress, or the 2 of you in the back and NPC?
Yeah, I think Wayne would be slowly advancing so as to keep the creature in sight, and also Wayne, having no qualms about yelling, is going to say, "Hey, does anybody here speak rock monster?"
Rock monster!
And then Atiye says, "Why don't you try draconic? Draconic, if that's how it's said." It's.
Does anybody speak Draconic?
And then
Zane's like, "Screw you, Atiye."
Zane looks up and rolls his eyes and says, "Why me?"
/roll.
And so I say in Draconic, in a very just like stable, straightforward, not usual Zane tone, but a very like matter of fact. "Well, hello, sir. How can I help you?" in Draconic.
The head quickly whips around, looks in your direction. Are you out of? Oh, you moved south. Okay, so the head quickly whips around and sees you, and you see this being the face. I mean, if you zoom in, you can kind of see there's not much to the face. It's almost the impression of a face. What would be a mouth? What would be eyes? And it looks at you, and it gets into what you would think of as a defensive posture, and it you hear a grumbling noise that does not come across as words, but it clearly reacted to the presence of Draconic in a way that it did not to the presence of a dwarf.
So, same tone of voice. Are you lost here? We can't seem to find our way. Perhaps we can help each other.
Give me a persuasion check.
I knew that was coming.
We're seeing how much these words. 12 persuasion.
Line.
Could
Okay,
Atiye cast Beast Bond on Zane to enhance their persuasion? Or like, okay.
No, there's another spell that can do something like that. I was bringing you to me the Phoenix is effectively like I just gave you a free Beast Bond
Oh,
on
nice.
it,
Yeah, no, I like
which is why it went to you and did not go
Yeah.
elsewhere. So
I knew it was a long shot.
So you couldn't. There is something else called enhanceability. So I'm trying to think how that could work here, Beast Bond. I don't think it would in this case, but there could be something where you could do something like that. You could help somebody with an animal interaction. The problem here is mostly that while it might understand Draconic, it is a large rock beast that you don't. Even your magic doesn't necessarily know how to make it nicer. With 12 persuasion. So the beast kind of sniffs at the air again, and we're going to give it this roll. It's not against your whatever. Okay, with a 19 plus 0, with a 19, it seems to catch a whiff of something that it finds more important than what you were saying. And it quickly turns west and crashes through the door.
Atiye, look out!
To where Atiye is. So the door just swings back and probably hits you. Make a dexterity saving throw, Atiye, as one of the two doors, large slabs of stone, swing towards you.
Actually, I can just do a 20, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, roll a d20 and add your dexterity saving throw.
I got a 14 without
Plus
anything.
Yeah, and you've got a good dex. On your core sheet, it looks like your dex save is +5, so you got a 19. So you definitely jump out of the way as this slab of a door comes. You had the vision of it coming, so you were easily able to get out of the way. Your heritage making you lightly step past most things as you walked over the swamp, showing us. That was, of course, before you tried to dive into the swamp. But that's another.
Sometimes I have bad calls.
I was just thinking of the juxtaposition of able to walk on the swamp versus will swim through it. So the door slams and does not hit you, and the rock monster, this earth elemental, focuses immediately on the dragon that freezes in place.
I turned to Wayne and Caraf and said, "Was it something I said?" And then kind of jog that general direction.
Okay.
Caraf laughs inside
Everybody
of himself
give me,
and follows.
Everybody give me wait for it to be up. Initiative roll. First, I'm deleting y'all from the turn order here. So it'll be the new one. Click on your token and then click initiative, or roll it in person and then tell me what you got.
Okay. So initiative be D20?
Yep.
All right.
Almost everything.
18.
Okay, 18 from Karen.
11.
Add turn and Atiye. Whoop! What did I do? Oh, there we go. That's cool.
Oh, wow. 2 12s.
Add turn. Caraf had an 18 and Atiye had a what?
11.
Okay. And that puts us here, 12, 12. Wayne, what's your dex?
My dex, 2.
Okay, Zane, what's your dex?
Do you mean my modifier or my actual raw score?
Give me your actual.
15.
Oh.
Okay, Zane, what's your actual number?
15.
Sorry, Wayne.
Oh.
God, two names.
I know.
I thought maybe you meant me, but I was just gonna wait.
14. Okay, so Zane has the option to go first if desired, and we are going to add turn here. There we go. With a 14.
What language is that?
That is nerd,
Yeah.
human, nervous human.
I understood it.
That is anybody who speaks anxiety speaks
Yeah.
that.
It was so familiar.
Yeah.
You see this. You see this large rock monster focus on the dragon, and it looks as if it is about to attack. And this is why we did an initiative check, because everybody was there. Wayne, you could have jogged forward with the other two if you wanted.
Oh yeah, I'm over it.
For starting position.
Let's just say I did that, and eventually,
Sure, put you where you are.
eventually my token will catch up to what has already happened in life. As soon as
Well, that's the problem. Is we're not gonna like if we were in person, it's really easy to just move things around, but on the screen, it's much harder to. I'm right here. Okay, perfect. So, Caraf, you have the right to act first. You've all seen as this thing bursts through the door and looks to the south and sees the dragon. An intent to act and not peaceably.
So I'm torn between buffing my party and distracting the dragon, and I think this is an emergency situation. I need to distract the elemental, and so we. I hate to draw first blood whenever it's not proven to be necessary, but I think it may be necessary in this case. I throw my javelin. I throw my javelin at the creature. Yeah.
At the rock monster.
Yeah. So roll an attack. This will be with your
the rock monster, not the dragon.
Same as you've always done.
You could just kill the dragon for the rock monster.
Here we go.
No, I did it.
We never really liked that dragon anyway.
Yeah, you didn't. You kept telling me to kill it.
Fails to hit. It smash. You are hesitant enough that it glances off of the rock and bounces to the side. You still have move. You still have.
Yeah. Okay. So I move. I move one block closer. I'm not really ready to get like up close and personal just yet.
Sure. Okay. That brings us to the rock monster. Charges forward. One. I want to move there. 2, 3, 4. And it. Oh God, I lost the page. I didn't mean to do that. Let's roll this. Well, with a 20. Okay. Now we have to find the page because we need to be precise. What I did was y'all changed my plan, and so I had this on the wrong page, and that's totally fine. So it does 2 slam attacks plus 8, 14. So it does 2d8. So it So it really just wails on the dragon once, and then actually no. Let's be honest. The first thing it did was make an attack for the sake of grappling. So it actually reaches out and picks up this dragon by its neck. And being larger, it is able to, and then it swings once with a punch. So the first one guarantees that it is holding on, so the dragon cannot move. And then with that, it does hit. And we're going to roll the d8. There we go. 10, 5, 15. Okay, so the dragon takes a pretty powerful sucker punch to the gut and cries out, "Oh, it's no!" And that's all it can get out as you sense in the voice some kind of panic that is happening beyond just I'm being beat up. That brings us to Zane's turn.
So Zane, the door is still open, or it has been destroyed, I'm guessing?
Yeah, it has been destroyed as it flew past Atiye, and she ducked underneath it. It's lying broken on the floor. Something.
All right.
Nope, we're not going into lizards.
Atiye did a backflip, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
love it.
Very Matrix.
In what way did she backflip, and then it went above her? Did she backflip over it as it?
It was going through, and she backflipped and ran up the side of it, and then backflipped away.
Oh, gorgeous!
Yeah.
Love it. You can put yourself wherever within, call it 10 feet, you would have been after that.
Yeah, she would have been going away from what was happening.
You probably wouldn't have landed exactly where you were, to be honest.
So Zane would kind of peek through the door opening and say in Draconic, "It doesn't have to be like this. You calm down, and would cast fairy fire at the rock monster. I'll call him.
Angry monsters always respond well to being told to calm down. So
Did you cast it where it could hit both of them or just the rock monster?
I'm gonna try as hard as I can to only hit the rock monster.
Very possible. You've got a whole corner back there that works.
Yeah.
And with a 4, it fails.
Ah,
So it is glowing in a gorgeous red light that you have seen very, very recently,
mhm.
flowing off of the back of magnificent hair. Okay.
He can
So this
stay in the
elemental
he can
will now
stay in the
grant
doorway.
advantage
He's just
to
gonna
an
stay. He's just gonna stay there. He's not
Okay.
gonna do anything else.
Perfect. The archway that used to have a door. Wayne. Oh, did you want to use your bonus action?
Oh, I just had a rest, did I not?
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
did just have a rest.
You did indeed.
So I think Atiye, it is your turn for some bardic inspiration.
Yay. First time.
Okay. So remember, you will get to do something, see your number, and say that wasn't good enough, and then roll a d6 to add to it if you so choose.
And it would be appropriate for Atiye to sing when she uses it. Is that right?
Of course.
Always.
You could sing at any moment that you want.
But the
You're
bardic
inspired.
inspiration part, yeah. Like,
Well, that's traditionally from Zane
Yes.
somehow inspiring you. So Zane, what do you do to inspire Atiye?
Yeah, that's what I was about to
Nice.
describe.
Yeah.
So I would kind of move forward a little bit in the doorway and tap her on the shoulder and go, "Look at you with that beautiful bird. I know that this is your fight to win." And I kind of sing it in like a sing-song kind of manner. I can't do it myself, but
and
Wayne yells.
Atiye. Yeah. Oh, you go, Wayne.
Wayne's like, that didn't even rhyme.
exactly.
Clearly, you know what it will take to inspire Wayne. Just any rhyme. Wayne, that brings us to your turn.
All right.
And I'll mark here with like a yellow for you are inspired.
Nice.
So that we'll remember on your turn until you use it.
So I think Wayne at this point would want to catch up with the rest of the group here. So I think I'm about 6 away from the door there, right? Can probably just slip up to the door.
Yeah.
But he's also he's pretty sure that his weapons are not going to do a whole ton against this rock monster. Plus, it seems confused, and therefore he is a little confused. So he's going to maybe wait a little bit to see how this plays out before he starts attacking, especially given how Caraf's attack went.
Okay. So are you readying something in case he comes close, or are you just?
Yeah, I think he's.
What is his posture, so to speak?
It's just funny thinking like, yeah, let me get my hand axe out in case this rock monster comes over here. But yes, let's get the hand axes ready just in case.
Okay. Perfect. Atiye.
So Atiye has let go of her leash and is moving back in case the dragon releases its fumes again.
It does not seem to notice that it has the fire on it, and it does not take a swing at you as you leave its range. It is very focused on this dragon.
Nice. And Atiye, so in addition to moving, would have her bow ready, but I also wanted to see whether or not I needed to do any kind of roll to know more about the phoenix on my shoulder, like whether or not it has special abilities or.
You've had a few minutes with it. It seems very young. It seems like there's not much that it could do at the moment.
Okay.
But you think that over time, it seems to have taken a liking to you, and it could help later on. If it was to help now, it'd be kind of the active sacrifice help, where it would just fly in to distract for 1 second. So maybe not.
Good to know. That was the question I was going for.
Yeah.
So
it's a phoenix; it'll come back. It's fine.
Right, like
probably.
But I love my little baby phoenix, so I'll gently nurture it, and I am just going to shoot it with my bow and arrow The rock monster,
Go
not
for it.
the anything else.
Okay. Totally fine. Roll your attack.
Okay.
'Cause- Ooh, dang.
An 11 also just bounces off the scales. 2 low rolls so far, not the best. Not the scales, that's the dragon. Bounces off the rock hide.
Nice.
The dragon on its turn, what? That doesn't, nope. Swings twice wildly, not successfully scratching the earth elemental. Bring us to, oh yeah, you've got an 11. You could roll a d6.
Yeah, I was wondering, how long do I have bardic inspiration for?
For a minute. And it can only, so the highest it could bring you up to is a 17.
Okay.
And y'all haven't quite done enough to this to know how hard it is to hit yet.
Can I? Atiye is just going to use it.
Sure.
What do I
Just
roll?
do
A
it.
d6?
Just roll a d6 to add to it. You are reaching into that confidence that Zane passed along.
Yeah, Atiye is feeling the white male confidence that she's always wanted to have. She's just vibing on it, believing, like, oh, well, this arrow didn't work, but you know what? I got a 6.
Hey! Believe it or not, that is exactly the number you needed. Any less and it would
White
not have
male.
hit. So
That's horrible.
you deal 11 piercing damage. Here's a phrase that y'all will get used to as D&D goes on. It doesn't look like it did as much damage as you expected.
Yeah,
Which means that, hey, maybe
Yeah,
it only took half.
exactly.
Stick energy. Oh my god.
Atiye brought big stick energy.
Wow, Wayne.
Love it. I
Wow.
love
That's
it.
what I needed.
I love it.
That's the word I
That's
needed.
beautiful. So with the big stick energy, you do damage it, and that causes it, while it is still holding the dragon, to turn around and look at you.
And I glare back at it.
The first damage that happened. Oh wait, actually, rewind. Before you use that, it's glowing
Oh yeah,
red, so
You get to
do a
roll with
second, just roll a
advantage.
d20.
yeah.
Just roll a d20 and tell me what it
Okay.
is.
I was about to
okay.
remind people of that also.
It
Use
was
the
a-
bardic help, please.
It was a 6.
It's a 6 again? Okay, so that's exactly the same. So the bardic inspiration did make it work. So that is spent, and it made the difference in a hit and a non-hit, and got the rock monster's attention. That brings us to the dragon still swung twice uselessly. Caraf's turn.
Caraf blesses Zane, Wayne, and Atiye. And keeping in with the Natalie Imbruglia lyrics, I say illusion never changed into something real.
As you say, illusion never changed. Just what does it look like physically as the camera watches Caraf this time instead of the magic leaving their fingers?
Oh, it's a bright pink sort of like chain link diamond pattern of like a sheet of light emerges from my hands and just shoots in the directions of the three of my teammates, and it bathes them in a warm light.
Protection surrounds y'all. This is a bless. You get a D4 on attack rolls and saving throws. This monster just got shot with an arrow, taking the first damage that it has taken in who knows how many aeons it has been. The dragon in its hands couldn't even do much, and it turns and runs toward Atiye to take a swing. That puts it in melee range with Wayne, so that was why I was checking if you were readying or whatnot. It has now entered your range, and you would have first dibs to attack if you so chose.
Oh, I did move too as well.
Yeah, no pressure at all. It's just running headlong towards Atiye.
Yeah. None at all.
So, yeah, I guess that would be Wayne's. What's a good word for that? His knee jerk reaction would be to try to protect the people in his group. So he
Sure.
would, against probably all better judgment, just go head first and take a swing at this giant rock monster.
Okay, with advantage.
I pray for you in a non-official, non-turn capacity.
A crit. Okay.
What?
Heck yeah.
Beautiful. You don't even need the D4 from Bless. So roll the hand axe,
Nice.
which is the 5 from the die plus the 4. Excuse me. Oh, so it already doubled the 2. So you get 9 damage on it. As it's a crit, I'm going to say that that's full damage, despite the fact that it would normally do less. Because
made
it
of
was
rock.
very impactful.
Got a crit.
Bravo.
So,
bravo.
as that, yes. So as it hits, it is swinging out toward Atiye. With a gigantic. It only has 1 free fist, so it's only going to take 1 hit instead of its normal 2. 5 is going to miss. 5 plus 8 is 13. What is your armor class?
14.
Okay, so it swings just over your head and smashes the wall. And this frustrates it, and it drops the dragon to take another swing at you. And with a 23, it will hit.
Drops the dragon. That's just
Oh,
meh.
Yeah. And that's not the third one. I can add 4. That is 15 damage.
so I have 1 hit point left.
Ooh, yes. You have 1 hit point, and that finishes its turn. Bringing us to Zane.
So she's looking pretty rough. That's what you're saying.
Atiye, the first swing hits the wall over Atiye. The second one comes down and she crumples a bit. She's still on, maybe like a 3-point landing that doesn't look so smooth. She's still on a knee and a hand, but looking very rough all of a sudden.
Okay. Well, I don't feel like I have an option. Then I'm going to have to cast. I'm going to cast Cure Wound on Atiye, and that's going to be a level 2 spell.
Okay. Atiye gets back 11 hit points.
Wow.
And I would reach over and say, now's not the time for napping.
It only rolled 1d8, even though you said higher level cast.
Uh-oh.
So you can roll. At least I don't see it.
I only see 1.
Oh, you would put the 2 together, so 13. So it rolled a 2, and then also, so it's a
Oh, damn.
total of 13.
Nice. So now I have 14 out of 16 health points.
Perfect.
So Atiye says, "Thank you, Zane," and brushes the rocks out of her hair.
Caraf, you hear in the back of your mind, "Do you need help?"
Without
And that's it. It fades.
without hesitation, think yes.
Okay. Zane, did you want to use your bonus action?
I'm not sure that I can do anything helpful right now.
Talk this
So
thing
I'm going to say no.
down.
Okay. So then that brings us to Wayne. You have a giant rock monster in front of you that really hurt your friend, who's now been healed.
So I think at this point, Wayne would be trying to get Zane, like, "Hey, Zane, are we sure we can't talk this thing down?" This
The reactions you've seen as Zane has spoken, it does not seem like it would. Imagine you were fighting somebody who just ignored everything you said. It would be effectively the same. You could try. It has ignored you twice, but that does not mean that it always will.
All right then, brute force it is. Having no other options, just gonna swing at it again.
With an 18, you hit for 6. Okay. Which doesn't quite pierce the way that you expect. And looking at this thing, it still looks hale and hearty. Maybe a couple of little pieces of rock have chipped off of it, but it's still looking pretty good. You have your offhand if you want to.
Oh, yeah. Wouldn't that just be the hand axe again, though, here, wouldn't it? Since I'm, like, 2-weapon. Okay.
Yeah.
So I just roll that again? Then?
Yeah, the difference is the second one doesn't get the strength damage on it, so you would just roll a d6.
Okay, so just 1d6.
16, so go ahead and roll a d4, because you are still blessed, and a 16 does not hit. But a 19 hits. the pinkish magic that has been kind of circling you, somewhat passing through you from Caraf, carries the weapon through slightly so that it digs in where it didn't expect to. So now just roll a d6.
1d6. I knew how to do that.
Zane, you hear in the back of your mind, do you need help?
Absolutely. Without hesitation.
Two people quickly answer so. Atiye, that brings us to your turn.
So I have a.
By the way, as it's getting hit, it is looking now both at you and Wayne, because Wayne has also done damage in a mean way.
Okay. Is there anywhere that I could perch and shoot the rock monster?
You could. It has to pass through like that. The doors they went through were fairly wide. The other archway is small, so you could try to leave. It would get one attack of opportunity as you go. If it, if you get past that archway, you don't think that it could easily reach you.
I meant more like, could I like climb the wall of like where the archway was broken on top of the rock and try to shoot from there?
Not necessarily, because it's fairly tall.
Okay.
So the height wouldn't help you in this place. But if you were to come up here, then you would have like it can't reach past this doorway that's too narrow.
But then it would have an opportunity of attack.
Yeah, and if you were to climb up and get far enough away that it couldn't reach you, the opportunity attack happens when you leave its reach. So since you're in its reach, any amount of getting out of its reach would cause it, no matter which direction.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess Atiye is, and sorry, another question. Some of my spells, are any of them good for trapping something? Like I have like ensnaring strike and Zephyr's something.
You could do ensnaring strike. These are unique circumstances, and you're in a unique place. Ensnaring strike would allow you to enchant your. I think it's meant for your weapon, like a melee weapon. But we could say that you could. So ensnaring strike would be a way to put something magical on your weapon, and then when you shoot it, it could try to hold the thing there with vines and other earthen stuff.
Nice.
So that's something you could try to do. That would take your bonus action to cast it, and then you would shoot, and hope it went on the next one.
So I'd have to wait to shoot until the next round?
No. So you would spend your... Well, let me double check. You would be spending your bonus action to cast it. And then the next time that you hit, within a minute, it would follow through with magic that would try to restrain this creature.
Okay. So I'm going to use my longbow to try to hit it, and also with my bonus action cast ensnaring strike. I forgot what it's called.
Not a problem. So it is hard to shoot a bow and arrow when you are right next to it.
Yeah,
so you will be at disadvantage unless you move away and maybe get the attack of opportunity. So it's that balancing act of you get to choose how likely you are to hit.
Yeah. Okay. Then in that case, but I'd still have to switch my weapon. Is that true?
You were already using bow and arrow, right?
Like if I wanted to switch since I was close to it.
Oh, if you, I would let you could drop, so an object interaction is free, so you could theoretically drop your bow and arrow as you draw a sword.
Okay.
And cast ensnaring strike on the sword instead.
Forgive me, anyone who's watching who knows what the best thing to do right now is. They're like, definitely do this one thing. I'm going to move so I can use my bow and arrow. So I'm going to move right there.
5 plus 8 is 13?
No.
She's 14, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then it misses.
Great. And then now I'm going to shoot my bow and arrow.
Okay. So Atiye reaches back and grabs an arrow from the quiver as you run to the corner, and magic courses along your hand. Don't forget to roll your extra d4 from being blessed. And that it's advantage, so you can roll another d20 to see if it does better.
Oh, how does that work?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, what number is it whenever we roll it?
I guess it's okay.
It's the number. It might be the one on top of the pyramid. They should be the same on all three sides.
That makes sense. A 2, and then another d20. 14. So same.
Okay, so with the second one, you definitely hit 14 plus 3 plus 2 plus 2. So you definitely hit the. You reach back, and as you what does it look like when you are casting a spell on this arrow as you take it out? This is probably the first time you've ever done
Yes,
so.
it is. So it almost seems like there's magical vines growing on the arrows itself as I'm pulling the bow and arrow back, and there's thorns on it as well, and they obviously don't hurt me. But then as it flies, you can see basically almost like ethereal vines growing and attaching to it from multiple directions, kind of like a tarp forming around it. And yeah, if it hits, then it basically encases them almost like a spider web, but just made of vines and natural earthly components.
Okay. Now it gets a saving throw to not be ensnared. So let's roll that. Why do I keep... Oh, because it's this page, not that page. That's why I keep doing it. Oh, that's a 1, so it doesn't matter what it rolled. So vines reach out and grasp this thing, and hold it in place. Its arms are still mobile, but you don't think that it could run after you now.
X.
The dragon, in a fear, kind of coughs out a breath of this poison that you've seen before, and with a Constitution saving throw, and with a 18, the creature saves, so it only takes 3d6. 6 and 5 is 11, so it takes 11 damage. Atiye, as you've cast this magic, you hear in the back of your head, and Wayne at the same time, because it's now been 2 full rounds for you as well, you hear, "Do you need help?"
Atiye goes, Terrence! And then she goes, yeah, that would be good. And she says all that out loud because she's unaware that it was just in her head.
Yeah. And as it comes through Twain, it says, "Are you sure for sure that you need help, smart man?"
Let's say yes, Terrence.
Okay. The dragon took its turn, and as we reach the top of the next round, I didn't have a mini for Terrence, did I? We're gonna use very womp, but I don't. We never actually put him on the map. We did. That was full theater of the mind. Okay, so we're gonna bring in a twig blight because it's earthy. And so coming from the south, from a door, looking ghostly and turning more solid as he enters, you see your buddy Terrence, who walks forward, and vines that you were growing seem to grow toward him and creep out, and they help hold this earth elemental in place.
Nice.
And he says, "It has been an honor," as he holds him in place, and the round continues. We're at 9:30. Should we stop here? It's gonna probably another couple rounds, which can take a long time.
We are in the middle of something, and time is a factor in all of our lives. I'm inclined to stick to schedule, but if everybody's got the time and bandwidth, I can continue. But only if everybody's got the time and bandwidth. We're all very busy people.
I have the time and the bandwidth, but I am also okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good to go if we want to finish this out.
Same.
All right.
Okay.
Well, in that case.
Okay. So Terrence grabs it and holds on to it. And what you notice as Terrence does so is that it. Oh, you don't notice anything. He literally just grabbed on. So, Caraf, it's your turn.
Caraf, bonus action can come before a main action, correct? Okay, yep. So Caraf gives themselves divine favor, a warm golden light, and the sounds of disco music, which is very anachronistic in this era, begin to play, and Caraf swings their warhammer with both hands as they sprint up upon our creature here. And let's swing that warhammer. Oh, not great. Not great.
You have
That's-
advantage because it is glowing with the light from
Okay.
Zane.
Okay. So I will go ahead and take advantage of that.
With a 23, you do hit. I'm just taking the first one because you already had the 8. So an 8 and a 23, you hit. You are dealing an extra 1d4 radiant damage. So go ahead and roll. It did the 10 bludgeoning, but go ahead and roll a d4 for the extra
There you
radiant.
go. 4.
Damn.
Right on.
Okay, -4. It feels like the hit feels a little ethereal. It didn't quite deal as much as you expected it to. Hard rock, but the radiant power seems to fully go through. Bringing us to this monster, which is going to make sure I read it real fast. Okay, it's going to get to make its 2 attacks. One is a 17 coming at Zane.
Ugh.
Poor Zane.
Okay, and the other coming at Wayne, who has heard it. Probably more than, well, no, the Radiant Light just got it. So the second one is going at Caraf. 16 plus 8, 24. So I think those both hit.
I believe so.
It does.
Armor class is 18. 24 definitely hits.
6 plus 5. So it does 11 to Zane, and to Caraf it does 5, 7, 12
Ooh.
to Caraf.
So down to 6 HP.
So Zane, make a concentration check for your glowing lights.
Okay. Hold on.
I forget the number I said of damage you took.
11.
Okay, so you just need a 10.
If I were concentration, where would I be?
It would be Constitution. Thing.
Okay.
A
I was
concentration.
wondering. I was like, I've
Yes,
never heard of
concentration saving throw.
concentration.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
You succeed. So the as you get hit, it swings first left at Zane, second right at Caraf, and perhaps Caraf, thinking to protect Zane, doesn't see that the other fist is coming at him. Zane gets clocked, and the thought in your head that you've recently seen of Stony, you're able to hold on to the magic that you have been sharing. And Caraf, you need to make a concentration check as well for your divine favor.
You got it. And that is Constitution.
That is a Constitution saving throw. You have an 11. You took, so you're good. It shouldn't be with advantage.
Okay, sorry, I'll do it.
So that'll be 3. So that's 2 plus.
Oh.
Okay, so we'll call it that way. Yeah. So that's fine. So you almost feel the glow around yourself and your weapon leave, but you struggle and maintain it, and it holds on.
Feels good.
12, Zane.
We're doing disco now. It's great.
Oh gosh, I'm right in this guy's face. Oh, Zane, what
Yeah.
are you doing?
It has taken. No, it hasn't, because it just acted.
So it's not right in front of me?
It is. I was gonna say it doesn't have a reaction, but it just acted, so it does have a reaction.
Okay, and so Zane would stagger back after being hit, and then kind of like regain his composure for a second, and looks kind of pissed. Has a very serious look on his face. He brushes his hairs back and he says, "Well, that's just not going to do." And throws his arm out in front of him and casts magic missile. Oh wait, I don't think it did it.
Get him,
There we go.
small finger.
Oh no. Please don't tell me that's the roll.
So, Matt, when you click it, it only does one of them.
Yeah.
So you get to click 2 more times.
Eh.
So a 2 and a 5 and a 4. So Zane reaches out their hand, and this red light. Do you want to describe how it goes?
So the red light that's glowing from the fairy fire, imagine that a little bit more orange, just emanates directly from his palms, and it looks like his hair that has these gold and red streaks in it. They like light up in this like fiery essence for a second as the missiles come from his hand and sizzle towards all three of them this rock monster.
Okay. So it takes all 11 from it. Wonderful. It still looks pretty hardy. It's getting some damage, but you wouldn't call it wounded yet in any severe fashion. Bonus action, Zane, or on to Wayne?
On to Wayne.
Okay, Wayne.
Well, this seems like it's going nowhere. And
I mean, little pieces of rock have fallen off, but it's kind of it's in the DM's purview to let you know if something is wounded or bloodied. If it's at half health, it still looks healthy enough that you think it's above half.
righto. Well, just keep swinging. Just keep swinging. Just keep swinging, swinging, swinging. Oh, okay, cool. I did do that with advantage.
Roll the d4. Oh no, yeah, because 17 hits, so you're good. So go ahead and roll the damage, and then if you want to do your offhand, do that as well.
Offhand is just the. Wait, do I have to roll that?
It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing. It just doesn't add strength to the damage.
Okay, so just do I have to roll the hand axe again, or do I just roll the d?
Yes, roll the hand axe again. Yeah, because you're swinging with your other hand, and this is did you hit or not?
that's not gonna work out.
Even with a d4 won't.
Yeah, no.
So describe your swings, Wayne. What does it look like as Wayne attacks?
So Wayne, although he's a little bit discouraged by the fact that he seems to be doing very little damage to this giant rock monster, comes in swinging with all that he has, and apparently his first swing was a little bit too much, and he threw himself a little bit off balance, so his second swing was a little bit weak, and just kind of like clinks off of the side of the monster there, but the first one definitely gets a good strike in.
Yeah, it noticed it. It seems to notice every time one of these hits it. Atiye.
So Atiye is going to do like a baseball slide all the way over to where Zane is, because Zane is closest, and is going to cast Cure Wounds on Zane.
Oh.
It's like you slid from like one base to the next. That is a long slide.
Atiye's skill. It was unnecessary. She could have just crawled probably, but she was feeling
hope the
still
rock
inspired.
monster is not a shortstop. That's
definitely seems more like a catcher.
Yeah, you're probably safe if it's the catcher.
Yeah,
they're not fast.
No. So I don't know what I actually do. Sorry.
You roll a d8.
Okay.
Yeah, because you've only got 2 spell slots and they're level 1. So you roll a d8 plus your wisdom modifier.
I got a 4 and
4 plus your 2 is a 6. So Zane heals 6 health points. And I did that again. Okay. So that's your action. And I don't think you have any other bonuses since you did the spell already. So as we hit the top, the dragon starts to run off, and Terrence actually reaches out and grabs it. And Terrence's other hand is holding this monster. And he says, "This is what happens when portals are not used properly." And as he's holding it, this earth elemental, you see the ghost of a dragon start to leave its body. And he's holding the dragon in the right hand that's squirming. "No! This is my body now! Where will I go?" And the dragon's spirit is starting to leave the earth elemental. And as he's doing it, it seems like Terrence... whoever is the most worried about Terrence, make a perception check.
I'm on it.
This whole thing seems very worrisome.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, that's my boy.
You notice that Terrence, like some
Terrence.
of the other things you've seen, is starting to fade like some of the other stuff y'all have seen, and echoing in Caraf's head is, "It was an honor," as he's holding on to them.
I see.
That brings us to Caraf's turn.
Caraf is out of spells. Melee is not doing much. So, lacking anything else to do, whose HP is lowest? I'm at 6.
I think yours is lowest.
I think it's
Okay.
you.
Yeah, I
'Cause
think
the
it
other-
might be you.
Yeah, she feels Zane.
Well, okay, and nobody's passed out, and lay on hands only does 1.
Lay on hands does, you're level 2, so it does up to 10. You get to choose how much. It was 1 yesterday because you had saved 1. But you can do up to 10 with an action. It's just your full action is the negative.
Gotcha. Okay, well then, yeah, I go ahead and give myself 5 HP.
Perfect.
Give
And
me
no bonus
5.
actions.
Right.
Right, no bonus action.
The as the dragon spirit is leaving this thing's body and it's kind of swinging on instinct, it's going to take disadvantage, but it is going to swing at who hit it most recently. That was still Wayne
Probably
and
me.
Yeah.
who else was the other
Zane,
one? Who was the other
Caraf.
one?
Zane fired missiles at it.
Oh,
didn't he?
yeah.
I
yeah.
fired missiles
Zane
at
fired
it.
the missiles. Yeah, so it'll take a disadvantage at Wayne. 19 and a 7 plus 8 is 15.
Yeah, I'm 16, so
Okay, so it just misses.
nice.
And at Zane, 16 and a 1.
Oh,
So
nice.
Zane, it swings right over Wayne and then right past Zane, and it is struggling, but it is no longer acting as serpentine. It is acting more rock-like from the bottom, where there is no more dragon in it. And you see the spirit is continuing to leave. And Zane, you hear in a draconic whisper as this thing is crying out as its spirit is coming out. No. So the spirit seems to have heard you earlier. Zane, it's your turn.
This is some sad stuff.
So I would be want as Zane to go as I hear this. No, I go. Oh yes, honey. And
It was my body.
And I think
In Draconic.
you're right. Can you say "oh yes, honey" in Draconic? I guess you can now.
You did.
I'm certain there's a word for honey.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Dragons like honey. That seems
Who
reasonable.
doesn't like honey, right?
Right.
I mean,
Right.
Vegans.
Really good.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
Which dragons are definitely not.
Correct. Vegans. Yeah.
this is true.
I
There's a vegan dragon out there. Who knows?
Yeah.
there's got to be somewhere.
A very skinny vegan dragon. Yeah.
I think that Zane would be a little bit mindful that he doesn't want to use up all of his spells immediately, since he just he's been through a lot today already. So if there was a weak spot in the armor, whatever, of this creature in front of it that he can see from some of the damage that's taken, he would reach out with his dagger and try to just poke it.
Okay. Yeah. So you reach out and poke at the spirit or at the rock
At the
that's
rock
lacking
monster.
Okay,
The
at
the
the
rock
rock
monster, yes.
I was just making sure that, because you had mentioned the spirit, that you weren't stabbing at a void. I mean, you could have. Who knows what would have happened? None of us know.
I'm trying desperately to help the situation however I can, and trying to prod things on seems like
You
something I
succeed.
do.
You prick it. It doesn't seem to react much.
Okay.
But you successfully prick it, Wayne.
Sorry, I'm just Wayne is having a moment of just chuckling a little bit at Zane's effort there.
That's great.
Just a little prick. Okay. There's our vaccination point there.
Nice.
Throw that in.
Topical.
We're pro-vax here. Yeah.
100%. Boost out, friends.
So
Oh,
Wayne
wow.
crits. Go and roll your damage.
Back to the
Very
old
nice.
Windex.
Another crit.
Fourth
Dang.
dose of Moderna inbound. Nice work.
Cool. So you deal 9,
And then
and then with your offhand if you want to,
Offhanding.
or something else. Yeah.
that'll hit. So I'll just roll a d6 there, right?
Yes.
That's what you get when you're vaccinated. Crits
Okay.
on crits.
2 more damage. Which brings us to Atiye. You've got a weird perspective as you've slid over, reached out a hand
Mhm.
to Zane's probably leg somewhere near the ground as you slid.
Just
And as you're
anything.
looking up at this rock monster and some kind of draconic spirit is being torn from it.
Yeah, so I would like to see, because based off of Caraf's check to see about how Terrence is doing, I would like to see whether or not Atiye can perceive how, like, what basically Caraf understood, which was it was an honor to serve with y'all.
You as the round has gone on, Terrence has faded a little bit more. You can see that Terrence does not look as solid as they did.
Okay. So Atiye would move over behind Terrence, basically.
Mhm.
I don't know if this counts as like an action, but she would give Terrence a hug from behind as Terrence is fading. And then I guess because we're still stabbing stuff.
Entirely up to you.
Yeah. I mean, it seems unnecessary. It seems like they're all dying. But yeah, she whispers to Terrence, Terrence, I think you're really cool. And I hope to see you again. And then I guess she would stab something.
Go for it. Do your
Okay.
stabbies.
Stab something.
She's not going to stab Terrence. just to make that clear.
Stab
Don't
Terrence.
stab whatever's in front of me.
Yeah.
Okay. Roll the D. You still got the bless, so that'll hit because it's only a 17. So go ahead and roll your damage with your short sword.
Oh no. I had to do this.
Oh, I clicked your short sword and it
Oh
rolled
yay,
for
that's
you.
perfect.
Okay, so you deal 5 piercing damage. It was not a good roll.
For
You're
sure.
welcome
Yeah.
to roll your D6 if you
Don't
want.
stab Terrence.
No.
Okay.
I like
so
your
mine-
5.
Love it. So you reach around to stab while you're hugging. Oh, I can't move yours. There we go.
Yeah.
So you hug on Terrence, and part of the vines that are on his back as you touch and reach around, they kind of envelop you.
Aw.
Are you imagining it because it's just kind of hanging
Yeah.
and that's gravity, or is it? But there's something there. As you stabbing Terrence, not even once. And then the dragon is going to make a nope, does not get out of Terrence's grasp, so it cannot fly away, and it spent its action on that. But it is animalistically being held. It does not want to be here with whatever is happening to it, and you still hear the voice of the hypothetical archfey. No, this isn't right. As we reach Terrence's turn, and as Terrence's pull continues on the Earth Elemental, there's a pop as the not a literal one, but there's a pop as the a jerk would be better, as the draconic spirit comes out, and he lets
Pop.
go of the dragon, and then he holds onto the dragon's spirit, and the two of them holding on to each other. One neck bites the dragon's mouth. Grips onto Terrence's shoulder, and Terrence is holding the draconic
No.
spirit, and as you're watching, the two of them start to fade, as did things back in the guild hall.
No, Terrence.
So there is still an earth elemental that flops to the ground. There is still a dragon that has now been let go of and tries to fly away.
Is the
And
dragon still the archfey?
to your knowledge, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it just seems like it is trying to leave with a 17. So yeah. So it is able to get out of the fading grasp. Only Caraf could try to stop it if he felt inclined, with everything else going on.
I say, hold up.
You say hold up, and you rolled a 6. I don't think that's enough to convince it to hold up.
Bummer.
Yeah, it was kind of fighting for its life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in its whatever grasp, and with draconic movement, it makes it out of reach at the least. Y'all could, if you wanted, pursue it. But that's up to y'all's decision in the next couple seconds. I'll let you, instead of going turn order, just what is y'all's goal here as the Earth Elemental slumps down and Terrence starts to or continue or finishes fading, and on Atiye, a small drop of water lands on your face. That could be a tear, or maybe it's raining. Who knows?
Atiye would shoot the dragon with her bow and arrow.
Okay, give me an attack as it was leaving range. Okay, and its armor is 17. Roll your d4. You're still blessed, so that'll hit no matter what. Perfect. So
3.
As this dragon has been squirming and trying to get out for the longest time, it finally gets free, and in a couple of bounds, one arrow just sinks into its side right underneath one of its wings as it passes through the door, and you can kind of see it start to bank as it wants to take to the sky.
I was just mad that Terrence died.
I mean, who knows? Maybe he didn't.
Yeah.
He probably did, but maybe he didn't.
Then it couldn't have felt great either way.
Yeah.
Okay, so are y'all? What the Earth Elemental in front of you has slumped down entirely.
I would also be probably leaving.
I wonder to myself if what we just saw, because Terrence is the one who sent us on this assignment, and when he got here, he was pretty focused.
Mm-hmm.
It was very nice. I love the Avatar of the Last Airbender reference. So I wonder if we've done what we came here to do, and I roll 7 perception, so who knows if I'm going to find out.
I think y'all have done a lot of puzzling, a lot of thinking of things. Atiye, the dragon is flying away from you toward the Feywild at draconic speeds. I would say that you can have 2 more shots, and if you severely injure it, then that might cause a difference.
Yeah, I'd still be shooting.
It is full flying. It flies 60 feet. It flies 60 feet around, and it can dash. So that means 120 feet around. So it is lightning as it is flying away.
Atiye is just angrily unloading.
Yeah, Atiye has not gone to therapy and does not know how to process grief other than by shooting
one arrow flies
things.
wide of it. Another, as certainly not Terrence's tear, and certainly not yours, falls down your face.
And then last one should be coming. Wait, no, I didn't click it.
So as Caraf is thinking,
That one will hit.
Terrence had mentioned
that one was
danger
full of anger
in the area. 10 definitely hits, or 22 definitely hits for 10 more damage. Ooh,
nice. Zane joining
and
team anger
18.
shooting.
Zane walks up beside Atiye and sees how troubled she is and looks in the distance and says, "I think I can hit that."
Okay. With the literal, here's how I'm ruling this. As the dragon is flying toward that place, remember that as you headed towards these things, stuff would get out of, you almost teleport, you almost leave here and go to there. So as the body starts to kind of fade, it's a magical dart that circles around the last arrow and hit at the same time. So it's an arrow that goes wide, a dart that hits it and it slightly throws it off course, another dart hits it, and then the third dart circles around the last arrow, and they hit it together, and it might have finished it, but you can't really tell because its body entirely fades before it could fall to the ground.
Atiye turns to Zane and doesn't say anything, but just nods ahead, like in solidarity. Like, yeah, that's how we handle grief.
Love it.
Get it?
Caraf feels bad internally for having missed the vibe of we were going to kill that dragon. I thought that dragon was our friend now, and I was trying to be polite.
I think you were also focused on what was happening in front, because you immediately talked about, did we do our job? Like, you were thinking what else there is to do. So totally reasonable. So I think you, so as you're thinking, did we do what we were here to do? And the fact that something was able to come from underneath, finally it clicks together for you from what you'd been doing before, the fifth valley, the fifth entrance, was downstairs. It was however you got here, because you came through a valley and saw 4 areas. You came through this building and saw 4 areas. So it's very likely that however you get back to Aerith, or the material plane where Aerith would be found, would be back below where you came before.
There is a wholeness to the things that have happened so far. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So if y'all are okay with it, I'm going to narrate just a bit. Is there anything else y'all want to do before I take over?
I hand out the last of the peanut butter sandwiches and say, "Good job, team."
That were prepped, yeah.
Yeah.
That kitchen did good.
Yeah, great. It was a great trip to the pantry.
Wayne has to briefly remind everyone that he made it through that whole fight without taking any damage.
You nearly knocked out twice, but hey, look at me.
Just
what do y'all do involving Nikolai?
Didn't even lose your hat.
If anything.
What was the question, Casey? I'm so
What
sorry.
is y'all's goal?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Nikolai's still here.
Oh, Nikolai. Oh God, what a hanging chat of a thing here.
Ooh, dating ourselves with
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Like if Nikolai was up to any kind of mischief, no way in hell is he going to tell us now. Caraf just asked Nikolai, what is your plan here? What are you going to do about if we were to leave? What would you do next?
I believe I would walk to the fog over there and see if it takes me home. I am not sure. I do not remember much of how I got here or anything. I just appeared, and if it would be a good place to be, if it would be home, and if it is another magical land surrounded in fog, then so be it. I would see what was there. I don't particularly like where I ended up. It was a dirty swamp. Not my favorite place to be.
It doesn't sound very great, to be honest.
Yeah, swamps not my favorite lodging. Yeah,
I'm fine if he wanders off to the fog.
I haven't gotten any particular like bad vibes off of him. I don't get the sense that I'm doing the world a disservice by just moving on with my life here.
Nothing pinged as overtly evil. Like there is. I'm going to say that spell, because I'm trying to reconcile how it works in D&D and that kind of stuff. That spell is, or that magical power, it's a little unreliable when it comes to certain races, right? So it is likely, like if you saw an orc, there's probably an upbringing of evil. There's a lot of other stuff that might lead that way, but an individual orc might not be. So with the vampire, you got the initial idea that maybe he's not right, but nothing about this individual person has implied that they are bad, and they never read off the charts on your radar. So,
and so with that in mind, Caraf feels like their job is done. Caraf feels like they can go back to Aerith and at the very least report what's happened. And if we haven't done what we were sent to do, we can always be sent back. But we've certainly put in a lot of work here and made some sacrifice.
Okay. That's Wayne. That's Caraf. Zane or Atiye doing anything before you go?
I don't think so. I think Zane feels very conflicted and stormy on the inside and has some internal things he needs to just mull over.
Okay.
Yeah, Atiye's just handling the grief of potentially losing Terrence, I think, but is coming down from that and feels fine with the vampire going back to the vampire land.
So
Mordovia.
Yeah, there we go.
Mordovia. So as y'all part ways, Nikolai gives Zane a bit of a wistful smile as he heads off toward the side. The first one who gave him truly a chance, whether it was or was just coaxing, who knows. We watch as the party slowly, perhaps after what they just went through, a couple of them especially, head back downstairs. The downstairs looks like it did before. It takes a while before you're looking around that you see that Zane had dropped the gem that was no longer glowing. In the hecticness of a battle with a dragon. And it not being mentioned specifically, I get to say that happened. So you find this dropped gem, and when you put it back on the table that it was on, the skeleton we mentioned had faded away, as if time had suddenly taken its place. You put it on the table, and it lights back up. The gem lights up. The brightness that it has doesn't get bright, but it kind of diffuses through the area so that the brightness is kind of taking over the whole place, and nothing feels different, except that when you head back upstairs after a while, thinking maybe nothing happened, you come back out to the same building and see kobold bodies and the bodies of 2 giant spiders. As you head outside, you don't see a swamp in the distance that Caraf knew from coming from the north. There shouldn't have been a swamp in the first place. You see the forest that would normally be here, and there's not much of a trail. This was a fairly abandoned cathedral building. So you're able to walk, and it might take a while. Give me whoever's navigating, give me a d20. This is just for how long it takes.
4.
4. Okay. It takes a while to find the cart with the horses.
Oh yeah,
but
because
they're
I
still
hit
tied
it.
up. Yeah, you hit it quite. Maybe that's why Caraf couldn't find it.
Masterful.
Atiye is deep in her heels and doesn't notice that that's what Caraf is looking for. And finally, Caraf says something, and Atiye, oh, it's right over there.
Yeah.
Dwarf dealing with elven hiding is probably conflicting. So you find the cart and head back to town. As you enter the, where do you go first in town?
To the bar.
I mean, I think we would probably
To the saloon.
To the saloon, okay.
But just briefly, we just
Yeah.
take to go.
I guess here's my question:
to go drinks.
Do you first go to the guild hall or to the bridge?
Oh.
Y'all answer. I answer. I feel like
I would think the guild.
I would
Yeah.
think the
I
guild
we'd
hall.
wanna go back and
Me too.
talk to.
As you'll head to the guild
Titans.
hall, you walk in to the front door. There's the same meeting table that you're used to, and on it is just a sheet of paper that just has a fancy T written on it, and a small sorry, with a fancy T written on it. After looking through the place, you see nothing but that little insignia. You might go by the bridge at some point in the next couple days. You don't see any sign of Terrence. There are footprints on the side of the river, but there were before. Who knows how recent they are? Maybe he made them today. And that night, when each of you go to your room, because you've had quite an ordeal, perhaps after a lot of ale, it sounds like for some of y'all, you each find something in your room that I'm going to tell you about next time when we pick up. That will be your first fancy items, and you, when you wake, will level 3.
Marvelous.
And so you have done a service. What was the service? There was some evilish dragon that was in the wrong body, and apparently it's gone now.
Potentially dead.
Okay.
Did that.
Yeah. And you checked all the gates, and you know that there's no longer a dragon in the wrong body. You know that there's no longer a vampire. They went back home, and you saw something about the first level of hell, and that you also saw a gelatinous cube that we never saw again. So who knows what else is happening. But some portal got closed in some way, and that was satisfactory enough that we ended tonight.
Way to go, everybody.
Nice.
Good job.
All right.
Well done,
This is all you,
Titans.
Michelle.
Yeah.
Nice work, everybody. Great job, team.
Great job.
Appreciate y'all.
Thanks for bearing with. I'm enjoying it much more theater of mind. For me,
Oh,
I
yeah,
hope that's
I
going
love
okay
it.
with y'all. But I'm enjoying it.
It's
that way.
great.
Cool.
I love it.
then
We just need to figure out a way to translate that for our video audience.
yeah, well, who knows it right now. Y'all have a wonderful night. We've gone an extra 30 minutes late. Thanks for sticking with us or watching with us if you're watching later, or listening with us if you're listening later. If anybody has anything to plug, Wayne? Sorry, Sequoia? No?
Oh. Who's supporting?
Yeah.
No. I think I'm good
Jenny?
at this point.
Tune in next time.
Yeah.
Hey.
Plugging us. That's allowed. Lauren.
Ditto.
Okay. John, Mr. Vegify himself.
Well, I can't be out here the only one being like, well, I have a Twitter, so you know what? Watch this show. I'm promoting this show. Watch it. It's gonna be great.
I say go follow John on Twitter. Mini Insights.
Yeah.
At John Carmack.
At Casey Sherman as well.
Yeah. Hey, what do you know? Everybody, thanks, and we will
Not
see
that
y'all
John
next
Carmack.
time. Not that John
Oh yeah,
Carmack.
not that one. It's gonna be so confusing.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.